Hello, and thank you for choosing to watch this eImpact back office demo. Today's demo will be about 8 minutes long and is a brief overview of the payroll and billing process. Before we start, please notice the video controls in the lower left corner of your window that allow you to play, pause, rewind, and fast forward. We'll begin by creating a batch and payrolling and billing a few employees for the week. To start, choose Pre-Payroll and then New Batch. We'll choose Temp to indicate that our payroll hours and our billing hours will be the same. Employee hours are entered together per branch. However, multiple batches may be calculated together later on. Enter a batch description. After choosing Save, eImpact immediately opens the batch. From this window, there are two ways to enter time cards. You can either choose to enter one employee at a time, or choose Add Time Cards to enter all expected time cards for the week. In all expected time cards, the date range defaults to the prior week. Choose Select to pull your list of all assignments. You are able to sort this grid so that it matches how your time cards are organized. To begin entering time, double-click on the first employee. Enter the employee's regular and overtime hours for the week. Immediately after choosing Save, the next time card in the group will appear. Enter the hours and overtime again. Here's an example of an employee with sick pay. And here's an employee with 40 hours and a one-time deduction. We'll just enter a few for this demo. Click Close when you're done. And close out of all expected time cards. Next, we'll preview the proofing report to make sure that our data entry was accurate. The proofing stage consists of 3 reports that pop up. The first is the error warning report. The second report is the proofing deduction report. Make sure that all expected deductions for the batch show up here. The last report is the time card proofing report. First, make sure that the worker comp codes are accurate. Then, double-check that the margins and markups are all expected and acceptable for this batch. Lastly, I would compare the regular and overtime hours for payroll and billing and make sure that they match. If any discrepancies are found, it's easy to go back into the time cards and make changes. If everything looks okay, choose Approve. Notice now that the batch status for both pay and bill has changed to Approved. In the next step, we'll select the batch and then choose to calculate the payroll. Enter the check date and then give the Print Checks batch a description. After payroll is calculated, the pay status moves to Print Pending. So now we can go to print the checks. Select the batch and choose your checkbook. After printing, you have the opportunity to confirm that the checks printed successfully. This will save you in the case of a paper jam or if you've entered the checks incorrectly. And now it's time to invoice. Enter the invoice date, then choose Build. The Invoice Build report is an additional proofing report that allows you to approve everything prior to finalizing the invoices. Confirm that the invoice groupings and subtotals are okay. The last page always shows your totals. If you find any mistakes, choose Reject to go back to the editing stage. If everything looks okay, you can approve the batch. Your customized invoices will print to the screen. You have the options to print and email at the top of the window. When everything is complete, both statuses will be updated. In the next step, I'll show you how to quickly import your payroll garnishments into accounts payable. Start by choosing Import Payroll Deductions. As usual, give your batch a name. All payroll deductions associated with an AP vendor will import into the batch. Double-clicking on the batch brings you into it. This is one way to view the invoice on screen. No edits can be made from this screen. Another place to view the transactions is to select Payables, Preview Batch Transactions. This prints the AP proofing report that shows both the GL account being used as well as the branch. You'll see a subtotal per vendor as well as a grand total for the AP invoices. If everything looks okay, we'll approve the batch. In the next step, we'll designate which AP invoices we want to pay. First, enter a cutoff date. Selecting Search will show all invoices due on or before this date. Select the invoice you'd like to pay. And to pay the entire balance, choose Apply Balance. Again, we can preview and then approve the batch. The next step is to print the checks. In this case, our vendor was set up for direct deposit. To export the direct deposit file, we'll choose Export Payables ACH. Here we're telling the system where to save the file. Next, let's take a quick look at entering AR payments in Impact. First, choose the link for receivables and create a new batch. There are 5 AR batch types, including credit and debit memos, finance charges, and payments and cash receipts. Choose Add Document to record the first payment. If your customer was kind enough to include the invoice number with the payment, you can enter the invoice number directly into the lookup here. Enter the check amount and the checkbook it will be deposited into. Highlight the invoice on the right and select Apply Balance to pay the entire invoice. Immediately, a new payment window opens. Choose the Billing Profile lookup to add another. The preview report is an excellent cash receipt list. And check out the last page to make sure that your totals are correct. When everything's ready, we'll approve the batch. This concludes our brief eImpact back office overview. Remember that eImpact also has a cash management and general ledger module, as well as a reporter feature that holds over 250 reports. Please contact a sales rep for more information, and we look forward to working with you again in the future. Thank you.